Hello everyone, you're welcome to my channel. This is Emma Styles. If you are seeing this video for the first time, you're welcome, and to my returning subscribers, you guys are the real MVPs. Today's video is going to be about how I made this shift dress with Ankara patches on it. I make good use of my scrap Ankara fabrics on a plain material. If this is something you're interested in learning how to make, then this tutorial is for you. The material needed is my plain fabrics, my tape rule, my scissors, my chalk, and also my Ankara patches. The first thing I'll be doing is to fold my fabrics into two, and I'm trying to adjust it here because of the nature of the fabrics that I'm using. And when I'm done doing that, I'll also fold it again into two. That will make the fold to be in 4 places. I already folded my fabrics into 4 places here, and because I'm making use of a chiffon, I'll go ahead and use my pin to pin it all the way down so that when I'm measuring on it, it will not be shifting. So now I'm going to be measuring the length of my top, and I'll be making use of 32 inches. I will measure 32 inches and mark it out on my fabrics. The actual measurement of my top is 31 inches, so I added 1 inch for stitching allowance. So I'm going to be cutting my shoulder with my sleeve, and I'll be making use of 11 inches. I'll go ahead and mark out 11 inches for my shoulder. For my armhole, I'll be making use of my breast point measurement, which is 10 inches. As you can see, I'm marking out 10 inches here. After that, I'll just connect a straight line to join the shoulder together with the breast point that I marked out. For my neckline, I'll go in by 4.5 inches and mark it out. And for the depth of my neckline, for the back, I'll go down by 1 inch, and for the front, I'll go down by 4 inches. The next thing I'm doing now is to just use my hand to make a curve and connect it together. So guys, this is what it looks like when I curve the neckline together. From my neckline, I will go down by 1 inch and I will join it to my shoulder as a shoulder slope. From the bust point here, I will mark out my bust measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inches stitches allowance, and also I will move over to my hip line and I will mark out my hip measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inches stitches allowance. So right now guys, I'm going to be making a curve from my armhole to join the points where I marked my bust measurement, and I'm going to be connecting it all the way down to the points where I marked out my hip measurement and towards the end of the top. So guys, this is basically all for the cutting of this top. The next thing I'll be doing now is just use my scissors to cut it out. So guys, I already cut out both the front and the back piece. I've also cut out the piece that I'll be using to turn the neckline behind the camera. So guys, I've torn out the front piece and this is what it's looking like. After the neckline, I went ahead to go down by 3 inches, as you can see, to create like a V neckline for the front. I also went ahead to add a stay to make it strong a bit. I added a stay to it to give it more strength, and this is what it looks like when I'm done turning it out. This is the back piece. It has been torn with its facing as well, and the next thing I'll be doing now is to join my shoulders together. There's a method I use to join shoulders together. It's so simple guys, just watch me closely. I'll place my front and back piece right side facing each other like this, and I'll take one of the facing to cover them together like this. Then I'll head over to my sewing machine and stitch it all the way down. Just pay close attention and look at it closely. It's so simple. I will do the same for the second shoulder. I'll place it right side facing each other like this. Then I'll use one of the facing to cover it as you see me do like this. Then I'll head over to the sewing machine and stitch it down. So guys, this is what I have when I'm done joining the shoulders. I've also cut out a tiny piece of the Ankara fabrics I'm going to be using to tape the sleeve behind the camera. So right now I will turn to the wrong side of my top. As you can see, I want to trim out the excesses here. Then I will place the right side of my Ankara patches to the wrong side of the sleeve. I will pin it down and I will head over to the sewing machine to stitch it down. So after stitching, I will turn it back to the right side like this, and I will fold it in and use 1/2 inch to stitch it down the right side of my fabric. I will do the same for the other sleeve. I've placed the right side of my Ankara fabrics on the wrong side of my top. I'll pin it down and stitch it all the way down. Then I will use 1/2 inch to stitch it down on the right side. I hope you get what I meant. If you did not understand it, just pay close attention to what I'm doing. You will get it. So right now guys, this is what the sleeve looks like after I've used my Ankara patches to design it, and I also go ahead to iron it out. These are the different kinds of Ankara patches that I'll be using on my top. I've cut them out and I've also gone ahead to iron it out in form of bias. I folded them in two places like this, as you can see, in form of bias, and I've ironed them out. I don't use a specific length for the length of my Ankara patches, but for the wideness of the Ankara fabrics, I use 6 inches. Besides, the Ankara patches will only be added to the front part of the top. So right now, I'll start placing the patches on the front piece of my top using 1.5 spacing in between them. As I'm placing them guys, I'll be using my safety pin to pin them down so that they will not be shifting from the place where I'm placing them. And when I'm done arranging them, I'll take my fabrics to the sewing machine and stitch it down. I will stitch each and every one of them down on both sides, both the up and the down parts. So guys, the top is almost ready. This is what we have after I've stitched them down to my top. This is what it's looking like. So I will just turn my top to the wrong side, then I'll measure 1.5 inch from the sleeve all the way down on both sides, then I will stitch it down. I'm using 1.5 inches to stitch it down because it is a free top. I'll be using the same measurement for both sides, and when I'm done stitching it down, I'll take the hem of the top and I'll stitch it down with my sewing machine. I will just use 1 inch stitches allowance that I left earlier on and use it to stitch it down. If you watch this tutorial to this place, thank you guys so much. Let me know in the comment section if you'll be trying this top out. As you can see, the top comes out nice and it's so comfortable. Please guys, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and don't forget to turn on the post notification bells to get notification anytime I post new videos. See you in my next video.